We've seen some amazing things, but that, my friends, is something we've never seen.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Brandon Month's Advice.
Brandon Cruz Month's Advice. You just locked yourself into the playoffs.
Nice.
Got it.
Talk with old Brandon Cruz Month's Advice.
Completely speechless, to say the least.
Man, I am honestly so baffled by that decision. Brandon Cruz Month's Advice. It's Brandon Month's Advice.
Green flag in the air. Brandon Cruz Month's Advice to the front.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast, and this is for the Xfinity Series Production Alliance 300 at Auto Club Speedway. This episode is also brought to you in association with Burnout Avenue, your motorsports headquarters. Zach and Josh over there do a great job every Monday posting a great and detailed race review and discussion, reviewing the last Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race, just going over things you may not have noticed in the race, and things that you might need to pay attention to leading up into next week. I really enjoyed it, and it's great if you can't end up watching the whole race for whatever reason. Also, they are kind enough to start letting me provide them with DFS articles every Saturday night related to who I like for the next Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series race and just plays that I like. So please check them out, guys. Check out my article. Let me know what you think, and let's get it right into this video.
Burn the star.
This one, I have to just quickly glance over the amazing fest that was the Cup Series final round of qualifying. Ladies and gentlemen, I know I just made this Twitter about a year ago, and I haven't been using this YouTube channel for this a whole lot, but this is why I feared group qualifying. I mean, there's so much, and I gotta watch myself now that I'm actually talking with other people. But this is why group qualifying and just the direction that NASCAR is going is just asinine. I mean, that was just a spitting image of and a good summary of what NASCAR has been over the last 10 years. I mean, that was hilarious. And if you're pissed off because of that, you need to let loose and go have a Bud Light or something, because that is absolutely hilarious. The amount of sponsorship money that was just pissed away in that is hilarious. Like, can you imagine someone sponsoring a car and be like, hey Doug, yo, look at our car, we spent $300,000 to sponsor this car, and he just stood on pit road and didn't do anything the whole time. And then the guy's like, no Doug, we spent $500,000 to sponsor that car, didn't do anything. I mean, it's hilarious, and I just think that was funny. And I still think Gordon was on something. I don't know what he's on, but he was just saying some really dumb things, saying that you don't need to be in a pack to have a good time. Obviously, if you watched Kurt Busch's time, Jeff, you would know that is not the case. But all I can say is no one wants to be the butt of a joke, and NASCAR is the butt of a joke right now. All the race teams are the butt of a joke right now, and the people who really don't like being the butt of a joke are millionaires and CEOs of businesses. So obviously something's got to change. If you want to hear my full opinion on this, I'm sure I could post it on that. But there's so much stuff wrong with NASCAR, it's ridiculous. That's why I say that I only watch it now just because I like racing. For those of you that don't know, I'll just reiterate right fast. I swear I'll get into the Xfinity stuff soon. But I was a pit crew member. I've been around racing my entire life. I've been a pit crew member. I've built engines, built race cars. I've done everything but drive race cars. And I was heavily involved in dirt track racing for the last 4 years. So I think I see everything, at least from a different view than the average fan, just because I see it a lot from the crew members and like the actual race team's perspective. So that's just that there. So let's get into this Auto Club Raceway. First off, no one really ran 10-lap averages. I say what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go find someone on Twitter, which there are people out there, like I think his name is DK NASCAR Stats, and Fantasy NASCAR Guy, and a couple other guys usually end up posting 3-lap averages on Sunday morning and 5-lap averages. I like using their data just to have an idea of who's fast. I know it's not an exact science because Auto Club's such a huge track. There's not a lot of cars that are going to be able to run 10 laps, even in the Cup Series tomorrow. Not a lot of 10-lap run guys. It's going to be a lot of probably 8-lap runs, so it's just short of that, and so NASCAR really won't count that as a run. They'll just have maybe like 15 guys on there on their actual website for 10-lap runs, so you're going to have to dig a little bit deeper if you want to know who has the better 3-lap runs and whatnot. And I want to focus on both punts that I like and just drivers that I think are really undervalued this week. For example, I think regardless of where Chase Briscoe qualifies, yet again, obviously this is recorded before qualifying. Qualifying can change so much stuff, but let's just say right now these are the guys that I like. So Chase Briscoe, I'm going to be probably 100% ownership in every lineup that I have with Chase Briscoe, because that dude is at $8,500. He's been starting not near the rear, but he's been starting like 20s and 30s, and he's been finishing really good. I think he finished 12th and 8th these last couple races or something along those lines. Look at his DK history. I mean, he's a good guy. I don't know why he's packed so low, and he's in a Stewart Haas car. I don't understand his $8,500 price tag in relation to like John Hunter Nemechek, Kyle Busch, like the top 10 guys there. He's just, I don't understand why he's that low. Same with Austin Cindric. Austin Cindric's a little bit more expensive, but he's just as good. I mean, okay, let's go back to Chase Briscoe. Chase Briscoe was 14th in the first practice and 8th in the second practice. And he's priced as if he's like a top 15 car, which he's not. He's easily a top 10 car. He's easily a top 7 car. Same thing with Austin Cindric. I think Austin's going to qualify a bit better than Briscoe tomorrow. I think Cindric will easily probably start like 7th or something. But first practice, Cindric was 9th, and in the second practice, he was 14th. Other than that, I like Justin Allgaier as well. And this is what you're going to have to do to win tomorrow. First off, you have to ask yourself, all right, let's sit back. Do you think Kyle Busch is going to win the race? If you do, I think you're with 30% of the field in that $8 GPP lineup. I think that's lowballing his ownership. He's going for win 200. There's so much storyline behind Kyle Busch, regardless of what you think of him. Which, yet again, I don't hate him. I don't see a reason why to hate Kyle. But whatever. We could talk about that later, as I said. But do you think Kyle Busch is going to win? If you think so, do you want to own him? Can you fit him into your lineups? That's going to be the real challenge, because Kyle is carrying a very hefty price tag of $15,000. This is like James Harden at the beginning of this year in NBA, where he was just whooping the absolute crap out of everyone else. And he's not that bad. I think last week gave you a really good example of what you're going to get out of him if he ends up winning a race, because he started third, finished first, led 71 laps, or led 116 laps, had 71 fast laps, and scored 113 points, and he's only up $100. I'm not really sure if you could get any other race car drivers higher than that, not just Kyle Busch, but in general for DK. Like, I figured that he'd be at like 17,000 or something. Like, I don't know how their process is. Like, do they want to force you away? I don't really know. Either way, if you're going to make him, it's pretty much going to be the same thing as last week. If you played Kyle Busch last week, if you fit him into lineups last week, then you know how it's going to be. I don't have to tell you that, hey, you're going to have to play punts or whatnot. He's basically the same price as he was last week, which I think is a huge mistake. I think he should be at least like $16,000. I know people don't want to hear that, but he should be priced way higher. Okay, regardless of that, if you think Kyle Busch is going to win, you're going to have to figure out how to play him and guys that you like. If you don't think Kyle is going to win, because I don't mass enter like I used to, but I'm going to have quite a few lineups into tomorrow's Xfinity race, and I am going to fade Kyle. I am not going to use him in some. I'm going to prepare for him to either not win, not have a fast car, which he's showing in practice right now. You know what, I gotta stop caring about what other people are gonna say in their podcast, but Kyle Busch has not been the fastest this week since he's unloaded. He's been a bit tight down the straightaways, and that wind, whatever. If you think this ain't football, wind does not play that big of a factor. Yes, it gets the cars loose. Yes, it pushes them around, but that's how it is everywhere in racing. It's not like a kicker can't make a field goal because it's 80 mile per hour winds. Like, it's not like that. Every driver has to race in the wind. They all deal with the wind differently. Yeah, sure, there might be gust here and there on certain parts of the tracks with certain drivers, but everyone's dealing with the wind. It's not like messing up a whole football game where the ground game is the only thing you can pick in a football game because of it, or the snow or whatever. So, say if you get off the 18, I like pivoting to Justin Allgaier. Justin Allgaier is showing a lot of speed right now in the first two practices, and if you put him with Briscoe and Cindric, I think you can easily afford that and have some good other players, good solid guys who aren't going to start and park in your lineups. Those are the guys who I'm looking to. The 7, 98, and 22, Austin Cindric. Another guy, or another people that I'm looking at is Noah Gragson. I don't know how much ownership he's going to carry, and I gotta see what his car looks like in qualifying tomorrow. But I like Noah Gragson. I don't think he would win, but I think he's going to be up there. I really, really do. And man, I like Cole Custer too, but every time I go to Cole Custer, he just disappoints me. It's not even funny. Everyone says that too. I love Cole Custer, but man, that guy, and he's not a bad guy. Just stuff happens to him. He can't lead. He can't hold a line. Ryan Priest is also interesting because like he's 9,900 on DraftKings. I'm tempted to run Ryan Priest this week as well. I don't know if a lot of people are going to hop onto him. A lot of people don't like him in the Cup Series. I don't imagine that he'll garner much ownership in the Xfinity Series, so I think he's interesting. John Hunter Nemechek is also fairly interesting because he's been decent, and he's the cheapest he's been this year. Ryan Siege is a guy who's getting a lot of attention on the media side, which might bring a lot of players to pick him. He's $8,000. Which isn't too crazy, and I think Siege could be that guy that you put in with Briscoe and like Austin Cindric or whatever. I think Siege is a good guy to have. Michael Annette's win at Daytona was a fluke, and I think the racing tomorrow. First off, the Xfinity Series and Truck Series, that's where it's at for racing. If you want to see quote unquote racing in NASCAR, go watch those two series. Don't bitch and moan. Oh, damn it. Dang it, I was doing so good not to curse. Don't complain about Kyle Busch winning everything. Just look at it in the form of racing. And these guys, Truck Series and Xfinity Series, that's where the racing is right now. Those are the two fun series to watch. David Starr is way too expensive for me. I don't like him at all. Ray Black Jr., he'd be nice if he don't qualify 19th, like he's been qualifying around. Even though he spun out in practice, but I'm not too worried about that. A lot of people are going to spin out in practice, like. Just because you spin out, basically, if you spin out in practice, I'm almost more confident, depending on how you crash. Like Reddick, whenever Tyler Reddick would crash last year, I'd be like, well, he's going to wreck again because he races crazy. But most people who wreck like Ray Black Jr., whenever you just get loose in the corner, you'd basically know what not to do. And I'm not too worried about him spinning out. I like Timmy Hill is now a good punt play because I think he's the one out of the four. Cars from MBM Racing and Carl Long Motorsports that actually finishes races now. So I like Timmy Hill. Matt Mills is still dirt cheap, and whatever. Dude, if I can get a dirt cheap guy to finish 29th, I'm going to take that. I'm not going to complain. He's beating Morgan Shepherd. He's beating Starting Parks, guys. Like, I'm still fine with Matt Mills. And then I like Vinnie Miller, too. He's not too bad. Everyone else I always have to see in qualifying. Like, for example, like Brandon Brown. I like Brandon Brown again. He's a bit slower this week, so he might be able to start farther in the back. But man, he's good on them cookie cutter tracks. Those 1.5 miles. I don't know if they're gonna have the speed here to do that. And then like who else do I have? The 51. I just went blank. Who's the 51? I just went blank. What is his name? They don't build their own engines. I just forgot. Oh my lord! I just forgot his name. Who drives the 51 car? Jeremy Clements. Jeez, I'm so sorry. Jeremy Clements. That team actually builds their own engines. That saves their money. And so far, they seem pretty fast at Auto Club Speedway. I like Jeremy Clements, too. If he can qualify 22nd, I will own a crapload of Jeremy Clements. And that's pretty much all I have right now. Like I said, guys, you need to wait till qualifying. Please tweet at me. Let me know who you're looking at. Let me know what you think certain guys are going to do. I am here to help you. I want to be here to help you. Just like Phil Hellmuth said in a poker match when someone got mad at him when he criticized poker, like, yeah, to you that's poker. To him that's his life, and that's how it is with DFS here. This might just be daily fantasy sports to some people, but to me I got a passion for this. This is my life. I love doing this type of stuff. So please let me know. Thank you guys for listening. Check out Burnout Avenue tomorrow night. The article will be up for Sunday's race and that whole cluster of a mess that we will see. But thank you guys so much for listening, and I will talk to you guys in the next episode. Thanks for listening. Also, follow me on Twitter, subscribe if you want to. If you have any questions, put them in the comment section as well. Thank you guys very much. See you tomorrow.